Okay, we're back. In this video, we're talking about autofocus. We have the lovely Cinnamon. She's looking well slept and refreshed, I must say. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the menu system. Now, as you get to know me, you're going to start to hear more and more about how I hate going into the menus because there's so much stuff. But in the beginning, you kind of have to get in there first and get a few key things set up. And then I'll show you the quicker way to do it. But one of the things I want to look at is this face eye autofocus area. So this is the spot where we can enable all of the new AI autofocus features, the auto eye and all of that stuff. That is super awesome, super important to do. So just quickly here, so face eye priority in autofocus. So yeah, definitely keep that on so you can take advantage of your camera's eye autofocus. This one, face eye subject. Most of the new cameras at this point have this. On this particular camera, the Sony a7S III, I've got human or animal detection, which is really cool because if you were doing any sort of pet photography, just hanging out shooting your dogs or any sort of animal stuff, it's fantastic. It finds them, it knows they're an animal, and it tracks the eyes. Everything else that we're going to use, you can just keep it on human. I have an A1, a Sony A1 that's got way more. It's got like vehicles, insects, birds. It's fascinating and super cool. But this particular camera just has the two, so yeah, we'll keep it on human. Right eye, left eye select. So I keep that on auto, but if you were doing, an interview or something where you just wanted to make sure it focuses on a dominant eye or what you're considering is the dominant eye, you could go in here and set one of those. But you can keep that one on auto. Face iframe display, keep that on. Face memory, this one's interesting. I don't actually have this set up right now, but some of these new cameras, you can actually have it memorize specific people. So if you're shooting a wedding, and there's like key people that you're always shooting, you could find them in the crowd. It's fascinating and really cool. So if you have that, definitely go in there and play with it. Register faces priority, keep that one on for sure. So now we've got everything enabled that the camera has for the auto and AI features. So on the back of our cameras, for the Sony people in the room, we have what's called the function button, FN function. Okay, so when we hit the function button, it gets us to this screen, okay? And it's a quicker way to get into some of these key things that we're gonna wanna play around with. The two that we're gonna look at right now is focus area and focus mode. So I will note, we're currently in photo mode on the camera. So in photo mode, we've got all sorts of options for autofocus and continuous autofocus, and then manual focus if we need it. But what's important to know here is that if you do jump over to video, which we'll do shortly, this will look a little bit different because there's some different focus modes on video mode versus photo mode, okay? We've got single shot autofocus. So what's good about single shot autofocus is if you were, for example, shooting portraits with someone who's not moving and they're just sitting and you don't need the auto tracker on kind of hunting all the time, this one works great. So for me, yeah, definitely headshots and portraits, I tend to go with single shot. But anything where people are moving, people are walking, or if you're moving the camera a lot, lots of action, definitely you're going to want continuous autofocus, okay? Now, I don't even worry about autofocus automatic. I don't worry about DMF. Most people don't either. Manual focus is going to have its time and place if you're doing, if you're doing macro shots really close up, or you're doing product photography, maybe it's dark and your autofocus isn't working so well. There is times when you need manual focus, but for the most part, the two that you're going to spend the most time on are single shot autofocus and continuous autofocus, okay? So I've switched it over to video mode now. And let's just jump over to the focus modes. So as I mentioned before, continuous autofocus and manual focus, but now we don't see some of those other ones. And you'll notice this a lot as you're switching between photo and video mode. The menus are going to look a little bit different, but so just so you know, that's what's going to happen when you're in video mode. Let's go back to focus area and let's just take a look at some of these guys and see what they do. So this wide focus area for video, I like to keep it on that one. Because then it just glues that box right on the eye. So all my auto eye capabilities are enabled and it's going to do its AI thing and stick to the eye, and it's awesome. Okay, if we go back, so zone, you can see there's this big zone box. So it starts in the center, but you can use your toggle switch on the back of the camera and you can move that guy around too. So it's just got a bigger area that it's keeping in focus, and that it's taking a read of as well. Also, let's go back to here. So center fix. There, you've got another box on the screen. So just more options. And if you play with your toggle switch, this one you can't move. So it's just fixed in the center, like the name says. Spot. Okay, so there's spot and then there's this expand spot one. But I tend to use this spot one the most. This one is handy because it does have this ability to move around really fast. So if I had something tracking here in this more of the center part of the frame, but for some reason I need to quickly get over here and get something in focus, you can just move that super quick. And like for right now, when I'm on a tripod and I may not want to pan the whole camera or ruin my shot to grab the focus, you just pop this guy over. It's super handy. You can see it going over here. And then for most of us who have the newer cameras and we have touchscreen, you can move this guy over wherever you want and just simply touch the screen and it'll pop it in focus. So if I go to the plant, I'm touching the screen and getting that in focus. If I went down to the couch arm over here, you can touch that, get that guy in focus. So the touchscreen is handy. Now, if you go back to the spot, that was a medium-sized box. So you could also do a bigger size box. Okay, it'll do the same thing. And you can notice the auto eye is still wanting to do its thing. So even though you're hunting around, auto eye is still kind of in the background wanting to fire, but you can override that with touching the screen and picking your spot. And then quickly, also the small one. I tend to use the small one because for the most part, I'm always trying to keep people's eyes in focus. So I tend to use that if I need to, especially in photography. So there's the option to have the small, medium, or large boxes, and you'll kind of go on a journey with this stuff and figure out what suits you best. Sometimes you just have to go out and shoot, and you may fail a little bit, and you might, some of your favorite shots of the day might not be in focus. You might have missed focus, and it's going to take a couple of those situations to fail at it, but then kind of dial in your focus modes and what works well for you. And then over time, you're just going to kind of have your go-to settings, which is kind of where I'm at. So, and again, for me, I like that wide one. So when I keep it on video, I stick to wide like that. And then auto eye focus does its thing and it's fantastic.